Hey everyone, it is George Couros. Welcome back to another episode of the Innovator's Mindset podcast. And this is a very personal episode. It is about something that has been going on in my world for probably the last several years. And I don't really talk about it. I'll mention it kind of offhand things, but it's a really big achievement for myself and my family. But as I'm recording this, just yesterday, I had found out that we had been approved for green cards to be permanent residents in the United States. And I've been working in the US for, I think, the last decade plus on a visa. And a visa and a green card are two different things, but I don't want to get into the logistics of it, but the green card is a more permanent thing. And there's so many obstacles to get to this space, and I just feel extremely grateful to have got our green card approval yesterday, and my family is really, really excited. And it was just something I was thinking about. And I really appreciate my family were immigrants to Canada from Greece, and they came there for their reasons to see more opportunity for not only themselves but obviously their kids. And it's the same reason why we moved to the U.S. And partly, and I would say the biggest part was because I travel, and most of my work, most people that want to hear from me are in the United States for whatever reason. I think a lot of times the country you live in doesn't necessarily want to hear from you as much as other places for whatever reason. It's the same on a micro level. Schools tend to bring in people from outside of their organization when they have really great people. It's something I really despise, to be honest with you, but it is a reality. And moving to Orlando several years ago, I do work as much as I ever have, but I just have way more time at home because there's just way less travel. There's more options for flights, and most of my work's in the US. I don't have to go through borders every single time. And, I lived in Edmonton, not the biggest hub for flights in Canada at the time. So that's one of the reasons that we decided to move. And so it's a huge relief. I'm very, very excited. And when we first moved here, and there's two things I want to share with you. When we first moved here, one of the things I did, and I've mentioned this several times, I actually have email accounts set up for my kids that I actually email them their lives through my eyes as they're growing up, but they don't have access to these accounts until they're older. And I just want to share little perspectives, little things, little lessons. I might even link this video, to be honest with you. This is something I just wanted to share with you all because I know so many people kind of know about this, that we've been going through this process. But I also want to share this with my kids in the future. But one of the reasons I bring up the email thing is because when we decided to move here, my oldest was, I think, 5. My youngest was 2, and our son wasn't born at that point. And I wrote them an email explaining that we're moving and why. And the reason I did this is because, when my dad passed away, I kind of knew why they moved. Like, I kind of had an idea of it, but I didn't really know. I didn't really just hear it from, I've talked to my mom about it sometimes, but I never really heard from my dad about it because my mom and dad moved separately and they actually met in Canada. And I just wanted to make sure that my kids knew exactly why, and they could hear from their parents why we were moving in the first place and what we had hoped this would achieve for our lives. And, I think anytime someone makes a major life change like this, it's because they're trying to better their lives, right? And I'll admit, I do love living here because this is a place where so many of my friends come to vacation, and to live in a place where so many people vacation is really incredible thing. Every time I get on a plane, I'm excited. It's partly weather, it's partly just so many opportunities, but I did want to explain that. But the other thing I want to share with you, and it really stuck in my mind. It's something I've been thinking about so much. But I actually had to go to the customs for an event that I was doing in Canada. And there's this kind of weird place where you have a visa and then they say you're going to get approved for a green card, but you're not approved for a green card. You have to wait for that to happen. So you're kind of in this middle place where you're not supposed to leave the country. But I did have an event in Canada. So I actually had to get special approval and I had to go through this process to make sure that I didn't give up the green card. Really, whatever. So I had to go there, I had to make an appointment, this whole thing. You talk to a customs officer and they explain the whole thing to you. And I got there and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I think it's a quick interview, bring all the stuff I'm supposed to bring. But as I get there, I notice that everyone else is wearing suits. They're wearing, ties, they're wearing dresses, they're dressed up. And immediately I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Like looks like I don't really care about this. And I'm like super underdressed. What is going on? And so I just kind of followed the line behind all these people who were very dressed up while I'm wearing, Florida clothes. And so it took me about 5 minutes to realize, oh, these people are not here for what I'm here for. I was there to meet with a customs officer to have an appointment. They were all there because they were getting their citizenship. And I was sitting there watching people from all over the world just truly excited to have the opportunity to become citizens. And it was really an amazing thing to watch. And it made me think of all the things that my family did to become citizens in Canada. And I actually remember I don't know why, and maybe it happened at a different time, but I remember the day my mom became a Canadian citizen and how proud she was to, and I don't know why. Like it's not that Canada's not wonderful. I'm not saying that at all. But I saw it that day. It's like all of these things to basically go to a new place, to create new opportunity, and just kind of that feeling that you just get there, and to see people from all over the world with their families and their tears and watching this. And it just made me really appreciative of all the opportunities that people have in the world, and how grateful and how hard they work to get to a certain place, and thinking about my own family's journey. And I will tell you this, I never compare my journey to my mom and dad's, because they left, a place where they didn't know if they'd talk to, let alone see their family ever again. And they literally came with nothing. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is that my parents did so much with so little. For me to do so little with so much would actually make no sense. But I am so appreciative of the opportunity to be here. And, green card is a permanent resident. And at some point, hopefully we can become citizens of the country. But the pride that I saw that day, not only was I just really happy for strangers that I didn't know, but seeing myself one day doing that same thing was really amazing. This was a big thing in our lives to have the opportunity to become permanent residents of this country. So I just want to share. I know it's like a personal thing and probably you don't care, and you might not think it has to do with education, but I really think it does. But just a thing that even if you don't care, hopefully my kids will see this one day and know how big of a moment this was in our life. So thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for all you do. Take care.